Well, greetings once again to everyone. Welcome to the call. Thank you very much. Nice to see you again. We have a surprise for you tonight. But you know what? I wanted to cover a little part that's very important because I'm going to give you a riddle, and I'll tell you the riddle up front, and then later on we will ask those of you who have an answer for it to jump on and give us your answer. So let me start by saying we have always, from the very day my father began commercially making the tonic available in 1943 or 44, 45, and onwards, made it available to anybody, everybody. People came from all over to pick some up. We were up there in Quebec City in French Canada. Most of everything that he did was in French because the majority of the population in Quebec province was French. But he served French, English, any other language that was there, and that included German because he was Austrian, Croatian because my mother was Croatian, and any other nationality, any color, any creed, any religion, anything. Women, men, children, didn't matter. And do you know why he did that? Because no matter who you are, no matter what you are, no matter anything, 95% of everybody is ill. And you know what? You all have the same illnesses. Doesn't matter what the color is. Doesn't matter what the religion is. If you got too much sugar in your blood, boy, you got too much sugar in your blood. And on with any of the other ill health problems people have. So this is truly a universal product, probably the only one that is good for anybody from anywhere. Doesn't matter. And so on that note, when I give you the riddle, I want you to understand I am not giving it as a religious connotation. Okay, here is the riddle. How is it possible that I am able to say, Our Father who art in heaven, without this being anything to do with religion? Okay? That's the riddle. So think about it. I'll bring you on in, and we will clarify that. But on to the call, which, of course, is, again, a call to help you all pass the word along, pay it forward, save a life. We have so many great slogans, so many great sayings. Take an ounce and feel the bounce. Isn't that great? If you have on your voicemail, your voice message, when people leave a message, instead of saying, Hi, it's Mary, I'm not here, leave a message, I'll call you back as soon as I can. Why don't you add in there and take an ounce and feel the bounce? You know what? When the people call you back and say, what was that you said? It gives you the opportunity to start discussing how the JC could help them. Because you know what? Mary also is sick. Because 95% of everybody is sick. So probably 95% of everybody who phones you has some health issue. Well, you know it. All your friends, you know, they talk about it all the time. So use this sort of thing to bring it up without being in their face. As our old friend Lenny always says, tell, don't sell. So, folks, that's what we try to do with these calls. That's why we're doing them. That's why at 83 years old, I'm still doing them. And we do our very best to give you the information you need to pay it forward. So please go out and save a life. Okay? Well, I want to bring on my brother Norman, who is 85. Normie, are you there?
Hey, Anthony, how are you?
Yeah,
I'm 86 years old almost. Yes, I'm here. Am I the oldest one here? Am I the oldest one here?
Well, you're the oldest one probably on the line, but you're pretty much the oldest one. We have a few up there in the 80s, but we're catching up. So tell everybody.
Like the old pilots say in the Air Force, I'm flying on a wing and a prayer.
A wing and a prayer. And a bottle of JC.
Oh, always.
So I thought it would be really fun a lot of people don't know the history, and a lot of new people on the call. Tell everybody a little bit about some historical anecdote about, by the way, everybody, just in case you haven't gotten that riddle yet. My brother Norman and I are able to say, "Our Father who art in heaven," because, well, we hope he's in heaven, because our dad passed on back in 93, and we hope he went to heaven. He should have. Maybe he didn't. Anyway, so I thought about that tonight as I was thinking about Norman, and then I thought about Dad, and I thought, "Our Father who art in heaven." So there's the riddle solved. Norman, tell the folks how we used to make the tonic when we were, let's see, you were 10, I was 8, something like that.
Yeah, we were just little guys, eh?
Gee whiz.
We used to help Dad load up his big tanks with all the herbs in it, and watch it boil, and then we'd bottle it and pack it for him. Yeah, we did everything, didn't we? No unions in those days.
There was a fellow who did all the packing and the bottling, and Norman and I would race home from school. Everybody's going out to play, and we'd race home to go and be with him as he's putting labels on bottles, and he showed us how to do all that. And of course, Norman learned how to drink. To tell them how you learn to drink the tonic at an early age.
Oh yeah, out of a hose. We had the hose that came from that pumped the tonic from the lab through a hose. We'd fill the bottles, and you'd have to sometimes start it off. You know, like you're
you get a little taste. Yeah.
So you're siphoning gasoline from a tank, you know. But once it started, it kept on running.
And the fellow used to use a big paintbrush to put the glue on the label and slap the label on the bottle, and then clean it off. So he showed us how to do all that. We couldn't wait to get home to help out. That was amazing. Those days, folks, were the really beginning of the JC Tonic as you know it today. And people used to be waiting outside in their cars and trucks and whatever to pick up and load up their cars. We were in Canada, up in Quebec City, and there were people coming even from the U.S. who would drive all the way up and load up the trunk of their car to drive it back home. When the word started getting around how effective this was and how it would bring better health to everybody. So Norman and I were there, and we started drinking the JC, the tonic. We didn't call it JC then; it was called Matonol, and
Matonol.
Matonol. Boy, oh boy! So we lived through all of the great success as my father, our Father, who art in heaven, labored to bring it to market and build it into a thriving business. He was a scientist, not a businessman, but it was the demand that created the business, and he sort of just went along for the ride. And we grew up in that environment. And of course, we were fortunate to be able to start drinking it early on. But we have some 80-year-old people today who are drinking this, and they don't go to doctors any longer after they've been drinking it for a few years. As a matter of fact, they don't get colds. And we have many, many people who are drinking it 20, 30, 40 years. Many who have been on this call in the last year, telling everybody exactly that, what happened, how it happened, and to the last living soul, everybody's health issues sort of disappeared. They had a much more comfortable life. In many cases, got off their medication in the large number of cases, and lived a much happier and healthier life for the next 30 years that they were not going to live. And here, Norman is 85. You can tell by him speaking that he's got all these marbles, and as I have, and as most people who are drinking this in their 80s are lucid, they're healthy, they're happy, they're not too stressed. And that's what we want you all to do to help out all those people, because look around you. Most people around 60 are starting to collapse and fall apart, and it just gets worse and worse and worse from there on in. of course, you've heard people on this call who have been in those dire straits, and it's so sad that they never
Are we
heard
going to hear
this.
These people today, Anthony? Are we going to hear from some people today?
Well, we could if
Some
anybody wants to. Yeah, if anybody wants to share their story, say hello to Norman. Just *6 and come on in on the call and say hello.
Hey, sounds good.
Hi, Norman. Can you hear me?
I can.
It's Betty here up in Toronto. How you doing?
Hi, Betty. Oh, an old fellow Canadian, huh?
Yeah. Not too far from where you used to have your headquarters, but
really,
every night I say my prayers before going to bed, and I always say Our Father is my first one. So now I'm going to think of your dad as well as God in heaven. So.
No, you can't say it.
Anthony's an old preacher from way back with that.
Only Norman and I can say Our Father who art in heaven.
Well,
you can say Our Father too.
Yeah, I think about your dad all the time anyway, up in heaven, and he's kind of watching over us and everything we do. And I get all kinds of signs from your dad. I really do, and especially some of the anniversaries. That's how I ended up finding you, Anthony. Was going to be 6 years ago, and you had disappeared on us for a while, but I found you, and it was actually on the anniversary of your dad passing, because I wanted to read some old stories about Carl Jurak, and I went on the internet, and then I came across your website, and it was like, oh my God, what's going on here? And I just got excited, and been excited ever since. So
we have to get you on the call to tell that story again. It's a great story how you met our dad and all what went on.
Yeah, sure. That's
always keep your excitement, Betty. Always keep your excitement. Hey, you're not 80 years old. What are you doing on this call?
Well, I'm going to be 70. I'll be 70, Norman, next April.
Oh, you're just a baby.
Yeah, but I don't feel it. I only feel like 30 or 40. So But,
all right. All right. We'll let it slide tonight.
My life. So I'll let somebody else get on now.
Thanks, Betty.
Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you, Norman. God bless.
I wanted you all to say hello to my bro, Norman, who is, as you see, up there in the mid-80s. And that means all of you can do exactly what we have done. Just keep drinking, keep sharing with everybody, get them on the JC Tonic wagon.
Touch your toes once in a while, do a little bit of exercise.
Yeah, you got to touch the toes once in a while, of course.
Yeah.
Hey, Norman, it's Betty again. How much tonic do you drink every day now?
I probably drink 2.5 ounces or so.
Okay.
I usually take a shot before I go to bed at night with a glass of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you as good looking as Anthony is at this age?
Oh, good Lord. I can't.
What a load!
I can't say I'm better looking than my poor brother, but he is younger. He is younger, Betty, than me. I'm an old man.
Well, we're all getting on there, but we don't feel it. Yeah. But no, I'd love to see a picture, Norman. Love to see a picture.
Okay, I'll send one to Anthony, and he'll send it to you.
That sounds great. Yeah, send it out to everybody. Well, it's such a pleasure to have you on the phone. I do ask Anthony once in a while how you're doing, and it's wonderful.
Have I ever met you, Betty, in person?
I went to some of the big meetings, but I don't recall, back in the day when it was Matt Hall, because I've been around for 31 years. I got into Matt Hall when I was in 1989, actually.
Yeah.
So I don't.
I'm sure I would have remembered if I would have. I met so many people,
Oh, yeah, gosh. Yeah, for sure.
You wouldn't forget Betty if you met her.
Well, I can send you a picture, Norman, because I had a picture when I did a conference call a while back. So you can take a look and see what I look like.
Well, you sound like you're about 25 years old.
Yeah, I don't feel much older than that, honest to God. I had a lot of problems when I first got into Matt Hall. I had been in some major car accidents, and I had gone to a chiropractor for 3 years who never did anything for me. And then I got on the Mathol product, but, I wasn't even concerned about me. I actually got it originally for my dog, and it saved my dog's life. She was a German Shepherd, and we had to lift her up and down the stairs at the time, and we're at the point we're going to have to put her to sleep. And, I never had kids, but my animals are my babies. And so I tried this after my vet said, yeah, go ahead, because he hadn't helped her. And within 3-4 days, she was running up and down the stairs, jumping on the bed, and right then and there, I said, I got to do this the rest of my life. And then, of course...
Oh, yeah, the animals love the juice.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing. I mean, everybody I talk to, Norman, I tell them, remember, this is good for your animals, so get them on it, too, because anything with blood it works on. But,
exactly. Exactly. Well, we need a lot of people spreading the word, the good word,
Yeah, we sure do.
Which I'm sure there are, but, it's...
Well, I'm getting a lot of calls lately regarding the immune system.
Hey, Anthony, you remember one of your doctors that you have on the board or something? I forget which one it was. He said if you keep your immune system perfectly strong, he said you could be right in front of anthrax and it wouldn't bother you.
That's right. That was Doc Mowry. That's right. Absolutely.
Mowry. That's right. Yeah. And it's true.
Absolutely. Remember that? Yeah, that was when there was that anthrax scare here 20 years ago or whatever it was. Yeah. And as he said, JC Tonic will build a very, very, very robust immune system. As we can see with Betty and with you and with thousands of others. Folks, all you new folks on the line tonight, take heed. Listen to all this. It's important stuff. It'll keep you out of harm's way as you make your way through life. And get it into your children fast so that they don't have problems as they grow up.
Anthony, I don't know. I wanted to say hi to Norman.
Oh, is this who I think it is?
Yes, it is.
Number one salesman? All right.
What? Anyway,
so you're still
Norman,
alive, right?
I feel incredible. I always take my tonic.
Okay.
Thick and thin.
Right. You better.
I do, and I feel incredibly good. And for turning just 60, I'm still a young kid on the block, but wow, I feel amazing.
Yeah, you're 60 years old? Gee, you started when you were about 20, didn't you?
Let me see, I would have to say, because I started in 1992 when I started taking the formulation, and then...
92?
Yeah, 92, and then I got introduced when the JC Tonic back in 99, pretty much. So I really never stopped.
That's when we started the new company out.
Yeah, and I was really glad. So that was awesome. So I'm sure the folks...
Good to hear your voice.
Hopefully we'll get to see you sometime.
What do you think about that young Betty up there in Toronto?
Yeah. That's good. What a wonderful call. I just love this call. Hearing family and how it got started. Just wonderful. It always reassures that, hey, this is an incredible product to be on the market this long.
When you think of it, when Norman and I were learning how to put labels on the bottle, I mean, he was 10 years old, so that's 75 years ago.
Wow. That was incredible.
Hey, am I supposed to get a pension? Am I supposed to get a pension from the company for all that time?
Oh, that is hilarious.
The oldest CEO in the world.
Not too many companies around who can have the original bottlers on the call 75 years.
That's for sure.
Oh boy. Oh my.
You're probably the only one in history, actually. Maybe you should be in the Guinness Book of World Records for something.
Oh, that's an idea. Yeah, the bottler. I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
8-year-old bottler.
Oh boy, well, thank you guys.
Okay, children. So all of you be good, and I will talk to you later.
So thanks for jumping in, Betty and Lenny and everybody else, and we will see you all next week. I thought it would be a nice little surprise. One time we'll have Norman back, and we'll get into some of the stories a little more detailed, and we'll wow everybody with them. So Folks, thank you very much for being on the call. And don't forget, you take an ounce, and you're going to feel the bounce.
Jurak Classic Whole Body Tonic is a dietary supplement, not a drug. Therefore, it is useful to affect the structure and/or function of your body in various ways. But it is not intended to and will not cure, mitigate, treat, or prevent any disease. Individual testimonials may not be everyone's experience and do not constitute scientific evidence. Jurak Corporation does not make any drug or treatment claims for its product.